Hi, my name's Rob Ryder, speaking out of West Cornwall in England, or not in England for you Cornish. I know that. Respectfully, I'll have to say that. So, what I want to do a quick video on solutions. People have always been saying, "What is the solution?" In the book, A Conscious Humanity, Morality, Freedom, and Natural Law, that I penned with Patrick Quanton, I stated there is no solution. There is no thing we can do. No thing doesn't mean nothing. For me, there are many, many things that we can do. But ultimately, as I've stated before in previous videos, there's only one solution. And again, I'm hoping you can see this in the light. Freedom and morality are totally connected. The more morality in society, the more freedom that society will have. Simple as that. You cannot control, dictate, and build a fascist dictatorship with moral people in that society. It cannot happen. So when a society becomes more immoral, the freedoms will go down. When the society decides to behave more moral, freedom will go up. It's completely connected and linked. So morality is the solution. But then you say, well, what is morality? But before that, you have to become aware that you're enslaved. So the starting point is awareness. Awareness of the prison that we're in, the mind prison. As we go into previous videos, you'd have to connect the other videos. So you have to become aware that you're in a prison. You're being controlled. You're being governed. Yeah? Controlled of the mind. You're being controlled, which is immoral itself. Because our own natural freedom is our own. And I've said before, in societies, yeah, you have to compromise so things can work together. But this system is a control prison, basically. So the first thing that needs to happen is awareness. Awareness of the problem and the system, how it works. There's many, many things that are going on. I tend to stick to the financial system, the monetary system. Simple problem, simple solution. The fact that you're not your name, your citizenship is your membership in a society that only exists in the minds of the people. The United Kingdom Corporation, the United Kingdom, is a mind construct, as we've gone before. The landmass is the physical reality, the objective reality. But again, we're not controlled by our name, because if society was functioning for the benefit of the people, we wouldn't be having this conversation. No one would care. But that construct has been there to control us. Other stuff that I can't really talk too much about here, but I have spoken about in my medical fascism book, is the medical system, as they know nothing about health. So first, awareness has to be created. Then people have to decide, right, I want my natural freedom, and what can I do now to achieve that? And morality, as we've defined before, is not causing deliberate harm or loss to another human being. So if we simplify it as that, and that means a moral person wouldn't follow rules from a body of people who are allegedly there to serve them, but were passing regulations to control them and take away their freedoms, because that would be immoral, because we all have a right to our own freedom. Freedom of thought, freedom of behavior, as long as we don't impose that on anyone else. So we have this control system, which is important to understand. So we have to start behaving in a way that promotes freedom and doesn't promote our own enslavement. So it is very clear again from this graph, that somewhere along that line, there's going to be a critical mass where we're going to start to get more freedom than slavery. I could have done that graph slightly different, actually, because slavery tends to go like that. And when you get slightly going up, more people behaving morally, you could get what they call exponential growth. Now, that was a straight line, but what I believe the exponential growth can come in at is when people just get it. I've got it. And then instead of slow growth of people becoming awake, it just grows really faster. I call this the quiet revolution because people are doing protest marches. Protest, forget. It's just crying about your enslavement. Marches, yeah, that's fine. Marching for freedom, an expression of your freedom, no anger, no hatred, just peaceful marches coming together saying, yeah, we know what's happening. Yeah, that's far better than protests, which are just childish tantrums, really. But the quiet revolution is what I call having conversation with neighbours, with workmates, with friends, etc. Giving them bits of information. Try and give out a leaflet, the Light newspaper, a link to the UK column, or a link to a specific video you've seen. Make sure your information is checkable and it stands up. Yeah, you have to be really sure about what you're saying. Make it simple. Don't complicate things because these things aren't complicated. If, for example, we have potentially 500,000 people awake in England at the moment, potentially. Yeah, let's just give that figure. Now you can do your marches and all this and that, and how much that achieves, I don't know. Does that wake any other people up, or is it just coming together so people feel good? I don't know. But what I do know from my own experience of well over a decade talking to people is if you give the right information, let people sit on it, eventually many people, not everyone, but many people will come round. A lot of people have starting to see things now because of the conversations I've had for the last 12, 13 years. I call it the quiet revolution because you just go, nobody notices you. You're going around, conversations, leaflets, a few newspapers, whatever way you decide to get information out. If we've got 500,000 people now, it clearly isn't enough to free humanity. If in the next 6 months, all the awake people could give information, I don't like the word convince, we're not trying to brainwash anyone, but it could convince another one person so that they can see the prison. In 6 months, that's 1,000,000 people. If them 1,000,000 people then, over the next 6 months, show one person, in the next year, we'd have 2,000,000 people who at least can see the prison, and many of them will also, it's a quick, nowadays with all the information, it's a quick progress to solutions, simple solutions. Yes, there are a lot of controlled opposition out there, but people are just going to have to work their way through that. In 2 years, I mean, if it goes at that rate, 6 months later, we could have 4 million in 18 months. We're talking a serious critical mass now. No violence, no protest, no nothing. Yeah, the enslavement is still there, but we're getting to a point where there's so much power in this mass that I don't know what the critical mass number, let's say for example in England, what is it, 50, 52 million, I'm not sure the exact figure. But if you're getting close to 10% of the population, there is a few percent either pushing the agenda or so mind controlled in the agenda through your councils and everything, forget them. There's a percentage of the population who just will never get it. There's that huge percentage in the middle that could be swayed either way. And that's the people we need on our side. Gandhi was one man who took the moral path regardless of the consequences, and the power he had in his nation. One man. 4-5 million Gandhis in England, game over. Game over. Because when people will see that we're clearly speaking truth and offering the rest of people freedom, the people that's left in the middle will be left a choice. And it will be an obvious choice, freedom or slavery. You're not going to choose that option unless you're totally, utterly mind controlled. So the idea is to get to a critical mass via the quiet revolution. No shouting, no screaming, no violence, no nothing. Quiet conversations with neighbours, friends, workmates, etc. That could potentially bring this whole system down by awareness, followed up by knowing the solutions, and then the end product is deciding to take the moral path. Freedom and morality, absolutely connected. A critical mass of moral people will give us freedom. All the other issues are easily solvable. Easily solvable. The issue, the real issue, is human awareness and human morality. Thank you.